Hi, and welcome back to Blessed Mama of 5. So today we're just going to do a really quick crock pot meal. It's just beans and rice. So it's easy on the budget. I'm using up some extra stuff that I have in my refrigerator. And let's go from there. So first of all, we're going to take, hopefully you can see this. If I move everything closer maybe. I'll move it down. There we go. So, in our recipe, it calls for about a cup of onions. So I had already started dicing them up. So you have about a cup. Use what you have. I don't have everything in the recipe, and that's okay. And then it also calls for like a pound of smoked sausage or turkey, kielbasa, whatever you have. This was chicken sausage with roasted red peppers in it. The recipe calls for red peppers also, so since it's in the sausage, I'm not worrying about it. And then we had some leftover ham still from the last batch I did, which we're going to put some more ham in. So it just says to cut that up. Now this recipe originally calls for uncooked beans, but it is almost 4 o'clock here. Yep, almost 4. And I don't have time, because if you do uncooked beans, you're looking at least 8 hours. Well, since this is a last minute, I don't have that, so we're just going to use some canned beans. These are the beans I canned before. So we just take all of this and we throw it in our pot. If you're going to use dried beans, you would go ahead and you would put them on low. Cook them for 6 to 8 hours, probably closer to 8 if you're going to use red beans. Also calls for some celery, so we'll get that chopped up. Says about a cup, so I'm just doing one stock because my pot's going to be pretty full. They had definitely more than a pound of ham, but you want to use what's in the refrigerator. So we're going to clean this up a little bit. So here is our pot. Put you back up here so you can see. So it's our pot of just the vegetables and celery. It calls for 2 bay leaves. I have parts and pieces. I'm just going to use them up. It calls for 2 cloves of chopped garlic. Well, if I can get it open. I already have some in a jar, so we're just going to throw some in. If you don't like that much garlic, don't put that much in. Let's see, what else does it call for? It calls for some thyme. So we have some thyme. It calls for a teaspoon. It calls for a teaspoon of oregano. Put that in. Red pepper. I'm just going to put a little, it says a half teaspoon. Also calls for 1 pound of dried beans. Well, since we're not using dried beans, I'm going to use my canned black beans. And these I just can in my pressure cooker, so sometimes you can find beans that are on sale, the dried ones, and I just bring the dried one home and then I put them in my jars myself and I just can them. It's a lot cheaper. So I'm going to add 2 of those. also calls for a can of diced tomatoes, but I have stewed tomatoes on my shelf, so let's use them up. Okay, that was only 14 ounces. So since that's only 14 ounces, we have my homemade mix, tomato mix, and so we're gonna at least pour half. And again, that has celery, peppers, and onions in it, so kind of mix this up a little bit. What else do we need? We need some pepper, and it says water. Now, it calls for white pepper, but yeah, we don't have white pepper. We have black. Okay, so place all the ingredients in the slow cooker. I'm just going to look at mine here and see that I'm probably going to add just a little bit of more tomatoes. Again, my beans are already cooked, so I'm ahead of the game. So I just want all of these to just kind of marry together in the slow cooker. And then I have this handy little sheet. I don't know if you can see that. So it gives you crock pot time conversions. So if it's low for 6 to 8 hours, you can do high for 3 to 4. So I'm just going to stick mine on high for 4 hours and just let it cook, and I'll check on it. Since it's timed, I just do 3.5 because everything again is already cooked. We're just we're melding all the flavors together. And then when this gets done, that's a really big piece of ham. Let's get that bad boy out of there. Cut that up some more. When they come together, and what you're going to do is you're going to cook up some rice, white, brown, whatever you want. Your kitchen, your rules. And then it's kind of fatty, so maybe we won't use that piece. The dog's looking at me like, can I have it? So I just put that little piece back in. So we'll just serve it over cooked rice, and then we still have some sour bread dough left, and maybe we'll make another batch of it. I don't know if I'm going to have time tonight, because generally sourdough has to sit and rise at least 5 hours. So since it's 4 o'clock, maybe 9 o'clock, yeah, we probably won't do that tonight. So anyways, just put all your stuff together. This is just beans and rice. This was for dinner. It's in the crock pot, and we will link the recipe below. Okay, so now we're back because we're going to work on those hams. Remember, we got a really good deal for 79 cents a pound. So what I have is I have my electric roaster out, and I'm going to get this process started here. So here's my roaster. In the bottom of your roaster, put 2 to 4 inches of water. They say to cover about 1/4 of an inch in the roasting pan. So we'll just go ahead and add that. And then we're going to put our heavy sheets of foil down because what we want to do, so I'm going to move you closer here, so excuse the mess. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put our ham in here, and then we're going to place it in. We're going to go ahead and place it in, and then let me just double check. Trying to see what degrees. Okay, so we're going to go 425. So I'm going to go ahead and hook mine up to go ahead and 425. Okay, so ham 325. There we go. That sounds more like it. So we're going to go ahead and get our hams ready. And hopefully I can fit both in. Scissors. The only thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to stick it down into my roasting pan. Now I did put the rack in here, so that way when it's done, I'll be able to at least get it back out. Okay. I'm going to do the same. I'm hoping my lid will at least fit on. Maybe not. That's okay if it doesn't. Just going to take another piece and cover them both. Now there is a glaze you can put on it, but I'm going to let these cook first before I even put a glaze. So, I'm just going to put it on it. Kind of fits. Not real well, but that's okay. So what we'll do is we will let these cook. It says 2.5 hours to 3 hours. So 2 to 3 hours. So what I'll do is in 2 hours I'll come back and I'll go ahead and make up a glaze, and I'll bring you back for the glaze and we'll put it on there and we'll continue to cook it. Okay, so now we're back to do the glaze for the hams. So let's go ahead and get this started. So our recipe calls for some maple syrup. Let's go ahead and get that. Find my recipe again. Here we go. So just get out a small pan. It calls for Dijon mustard and apple juice, but I don't have any apple juice on hand, so I'm just mixing some water in with it. Now it's all going to taste the same, right? So we're going to do 1/2 cup. Hopefully I have enough maple syrup. So it says 1/2 cup of maple syrup, 1/2 cup of brown sugar, and then, let me take the lid off. 1/2 cup of apple juice, which is about what the mustard is with water. And it said a heaping tablespoon of Dijon mustard. There was about I would say there was about a tablespoon in there, probably a little less, but. So all we're going to do is we're going to put it in here. Grab a spoon. If you don't have one of these things, they're a great investment. Need a new one because all mine are, numbers are coming off. I had to grab some brown sugar. So 1/2 cup. I'm just doing a heaping. Good enough. This is just going to add a little sweetness for our ham. That's it. Go ahead and put those in. And then it also calls for a 1/4 teaspoon of allspice. That's really cool. So we'll just bring this up to a boil, I believe is what it says. Let me look. Bring it to a boil over medium heat and boil for 2 minutes, and then we'll put some on top of the hams that are in the roasters. And then after that, we'll let them cook just a little bit longer. So for supper, I have my water started for my rice. It's just 4 cups of water. These back. I just put salt in it, however much you want. Since we're doing beans with rice, let's put some butter in there. Now my butter has salt too, so. So as it comes up to a boil, I dry can all of my rice. And what that does is, because I get them in big bags, when you dry can it, it just kills any larvae that might have been in there. And then I can store them downstairs. The last time I canned this was in May of last year. So We don't have to worry about bugs. I put them in glass containers. I don't have to worry about anything getting into them. So with your 4 cups of water, I do not rinse mine. This is jasmine rice. I don't mind it being sticky. Doesn't bother me at all. That's why I like sushi. We'll just go ahead and add our 2 cups of rice. And I do them a little heaping, that's okay. And then we'll just stir this. And we'll just bring that up to a boil. We'll put the lid on it. Make sure that the vent is closed if you have any of your lids that have the vents. And then we'll turn it down. Right now it's on high, but we'll turn it down between, on my stove, it's like a 2.5. So it's almost low, but not quite. I can show you so for my handle, or for mine, you got high over here. And then I usually put my rice about right here. And it'll cook for 20 minutes. So, just to give you an idea. So once it starts to come back up to a boil, put this away. And we'll watch our brown sugar maple syrup mixture back here too. So once that starts to boil, it'll go fast. My stuff away. Okay. So I did add a little bit more sugar if you did see where I did the heaping. Only because I know apple juice has actual sugar in it too. So just to kind of help with the thickness. So they're starting. So like the rice isn't quite boiling yet. It's starting to. So once it comes up to a boil, we'll go ahead and stir it one more time here. Just so no rice is sticking on the bottom. And the best way to keep it from sticking is after it's boiled, you turn off the heat and you just move it to the back burner and let it set for about 10 minutes. So now it's coming up to a boil. So we'll just go ahead and cover it, churn it to about 2.5 and let it go. And now we're on to the sauce. Set our timer. Forgot about that. And I just turned this down too. So bring it to a boil and let it boil for about 2 minutes. But we'll continue to stir this just to make sure. Last thing you want is something sticky overflowing and burning your flat top. I've already done that. It's not fun. Okay, so our glaze had boiled for 2 minutes. So what we're going to do is we're just going to gently pour over our ham. And I've already checked my internal temperature and I'm right where it should be. So what I'm going to do is just glaze it over. It says do about 2/3. I'm just going to put the cover on and then I'm going to turn my roaster off. because it's late in the day, or actually evening. I have no idea what my clock probably says. Huh, 2022, what do you know? Really not. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it off, and I'm just going to let it sit and let it bake in there for the rest of the time. And then in about 15 minutes, I'll come back and I'll pour the rest. And then what I'll do is, here in a little bit, when it's cool enough, I will wrap them up, put them in a tray, and put them in my refrigerator so that I can cut them tomorrow. And then I'll end up freezing some and canning the ham. And I'm going to save the juice, because the juice that's all in this pan will actually be what we use when we go to can our ham. So again, that'll be probably a tomorrow process. Hopefully I can get everything accomplished that I want to. And then again, we'll just have plenty of ham, then we can just have in a jar. So when I want to make ham and potatoes, all I have to do is pull out the jar, and then I'm set. So right now the rice is cooking to go with our beans, and as you remember, we used up ham. That was from the last ham we cooked up. So it was a really good deal on hams. If I come up with any more good deals for you guys, I will definitely let you know, so that way you can prep ahead of time and save yourself some money. So we'll be back with the final on dinner. Okay, now that our rice is done, what we're going to do is we're just going to put just a little bit, and I put it in a bowl so you could see it a little bit better. Just going to add a little. You can see all the beans and the ham. So it turns out pretty good, and it's very filling. There's quite a bit. So I think we're going to be able to take the leftovers. It's good. We're going to take the leftovers, though, for tomorrow night. And we're going to take all of this, mix it in with some more rice. We'll make maybe like a Mexican casserole out of it. So when we come back tomorrow, that's what we'll do, and I'll show you how we do that. So we'll see you then. Okay, so we're back. Dinner was really, really good. Everybody really enjoyed it. So what I did is I went ahead and made some more rice. And then I took some of the leftovers, just mixed it in with the rice. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a casserole, Mexican casserole for tomorrow. So I had really gigantic tortillas. I just cut them in half. This is what you can do, so that way you can use up all your food and you don't have any leftovers. So since I just cut them in half, let's see how we can fit them in here. So I'm just going to lay some tortillas on the bottom just to cover it. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's called a makeshift casserole here, huh? Since we had so many good flavors from the sauce, I'm just going to put a layer. The nice thing about the beans and, excuse me, the beans and rice here is whatever meat you have, you can use that in this. I need to make it some more up. I have a little bit more left. Makes a lot, so that's a good thing. So what I'll do, since I just put that down, is this carb friendly? Not at all, but that's okay. I'll line it with some cheese. And we'll do our next layer. Doesn't have to be perfect. It'll work. This will be super filling for everyone. Just put that down in there. Okay. Put it all. more cheese. And this is how you can make your leftovers into another meal. I'm going to take more of that sauce. So if I get a spoon. And let's grab out some of our homemade salsa. This will help put moisture on the top. And I didn't want to mix any rice in here because I need that liquid to help soften up the tortillas. Oh, there's a bay leaf. That got missed. Just kind of spread it around. A little extra food. Just going to add a little bit of salsa. No rhyme or reason, just kind of throw it on there. And when this cooks in there, it'll help soften up even the lower levels of the tortillas. Okay. Top it with some more cheese. And then we'll put it in the oven at 350 for about 20-25 minutes until it's warmed all the way through. Because remember, everything's already cooked. So we will see you then when it comes out. Okay, so it's done. Remember, we put this in at 350 for 25 minutes. Oh, there you go. Looks pretty good. And what you can do is you can go ahead and top it. I'm going to right here with some, get the piece out first. Not bad. It smells really good. I'll move you back. So to top it, you can put some sour cream, some salsa, black olives, avocado. I get a spoon. And now you have 2 meals out of the one time that we cooked. So enjoy!